Imagine a society where time is hoarded for the affluent to live for centuries while the poor struggle to purchase it to live. Welcome back to Movie Recap. In this movie we see, the world is an intriguing one, where time is the ultimate currency, and people's lives are dictated by how much time they have left. Everyone stops aging at 25, and they are given only one more year to live unless they can earn, steal, or inherit more time. This has created a society where the wealthy can live for centuries, while the poor struggle to survive. Will Salas is a young man living in the ghetto area of the city called Dayton. He works long hours at a factory, trying to earn enough time to keep himself and his mother alive. The city is divided into various time zones, and each zone has a different time value. The wealthiest people live in New Greenwich, where they have access to an abundance of time. One night, Will meets a wealthy businessman named Henry Hamilton, who has over a century of time on his clock. Henry is tired of living and wants to die, but before he does, he passes his time to Will. This event changes Will's life, and he decides to use his newfound wealth to make a better life for himself and his mother. After their initial encounter, Will Salas decides to venture out to a local bar located in New Greenwich. It is there where he meets Sylvia Weiss, a young woman from an affluent background who has become disillusioned with her privileged life. The two form a deep and profound bond, which ultimately leads Sylvia to join Will on his mission to redistribute time and establish a more equitable society. However, their journey is fraught with danger, as Will is abruptly accused of murdering Henry Hamilton. The timekeepers, who serve as the law enforcement in this world, relentlessly pursue Will and Sylvia as they attempt to evade capture. While on the run, the duo crosses paths with a group of rebels, led by a man named Fortis. Fortis and his team are fighting against the unjust system that perpetuates poverty and oppresses the poor while allowing the wealthy to retain power and privilege. As Will and Sylvia become increasingly involved with the rebels fighting against the corrupt system, they learn about the intricate inner workings of the society they inhabit. They discover that the elite plan to create a severe shortage of time, which would make it virtually impossible for the poor to earn enough to survive. The overarching scheme is to control the population by raising the cost of living and creating a scenario where only the wealthy and powerful have created a self-serving and oppressive system that serves only to maintain their own positions of privilege and influence. They are willing to employ any means necessary, including manipulating time itself, to ensure that their status remains intact. Meanwhile, the rebels, who have been fighting against this corrupt system for years, see Will and Sylvia as their last hope to bring about meaningful change. The road ahead for Will and Sylvia is treacherous, with the timekeepers relentlessly pursuing them at every turn. The rebels themselves are not without their own set of challenges, and Will and Sylvia must navigate this dangerous landscape carefully. Time is the ultimate currency in this world, and every second is precious. The new society they create is one where everyone has a fair shot at living a full life. No longer will the wealthy hold all the power and advantages, while the poor struggle to survive. Will and Sylvia's courage and determination inspire others to stand up and fight for their own rights, ensuring that the legacy of their efforts lives on for generations to come. Will, Sylvia, and the rebels realize that the only way to truly dismantle the oppressive system that controls their world is through revolution. They understand that the roots of this system run deep, and that a radical approach is necessary to upend it. They hatch a bold plan to rob a timekeeper bank, which holds an immense amount of time that could be redistributed to the poor. Additionally, they plan to hack into the timekeeper's central system and reset everyone's clocks to 100 years, ensuring that everyone has equal access to time. Despite the dangers and risks involved, Will and Sylvia's unwavering commitment to the cause inspires the other rebels to take the leap of faith. They know that this is the moment they have been fighting for, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to make a change. The heist itself is a harrowing and intense experience, with a massive shootout breaking out between the rebels and the timekeepers. The stakes are high, and the consequences of failure are dire. In the midst of the chaos, Will is shot and his own clock is dangerously close to running out. It is in this moment that Sylvia makes a heart-wrenching decision to sacrifice her own time to save his life. Her selflessness and bravery in the face of certain death are a testament to her deep commitment to the cause and to Will himself. Despite the tragic toll that the heist takes on the rebels, they ultimately succeed in their mission, and a new era of equality and justice is ushered in. As the revolution came to an end, Will, Sylvia, and the rest of the rebels surveyed the wreckage of the old system. It was clear that the old ways of living had come to an end, and a new era was about to begin. The people were filled with hope as they watched the rebels distribute time to those in need. The poor, who had once struggled to survive, now had access to the same time as the rich. They no longer had to worry about living day to day or about the harsh realities of poverty. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, the new society began to take shape. People were no longer judged by their wealth or their status in society but by their contributions to the community. Will and Sylvia became heroes to the people. They were celebrated for their courage and their vision for a better world. They traveled the country, spreading the message of hope and equality to anyone who would listen. But the road to a new society was not without its challenges. There were those who opposed the new way of life and wanted to return to the old system. There were also those who were skeptical of the rebels' vision and believed that things could never change. Despite these challenges, the rebels persevered. They continued to work tirelessly to build a better world, and slowly but surely, they began to win people over to their cause. Years went by, and the new society became a model for the rest of the world. People from all over came to see how the rebels had created a society where everyone had equal access to time and where no one had to worry about living day to day. As Will and Sylvia walked away from the chaos, they couldn't help but feel a sense of relief and pride in what they had accomplished. They had fought for a better world, one where everyone had the same chance to succeed and live a fulfilling life. The people who had once looked down on them now hailed Will, Sylvia, and the other rebels as heroes for their bravery and leadership. They were grateful for the sacrifices the rebels had made to bring about a new society, one where time was no longer a commodity to be hoarded and controlled but a gift to be shared and treasured. As they walked, Will and Sylvia held hands, their clocks ticking down. But they didn't worry about the time they had left. In the new society they had helped create, time was no longer a source of anxiety or stress. It was something to be cherished and enjoyed. They looked forward to living a long and fulfilling life together, surrounded by people who shared their values and their vision for a better world. They knew that there would still be challenges and obstacles to overcome, but they were ready for whatever lay ahead. As the movie came to a close, the camera lingered on Will and Sylvia, their backs to the camera as they walked into the distance, hand in hand. The hope was that people watching the movie would be inspired by their courage and determination, and that they would learn to value their time and use it wisely, just as Will and Sylvia had done. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Do drop your comment of movie request in the comments section and we would work on it accordingly.